If you've ever had a million things bouncing around in your head and no idea where to keep track of them all, today's video might help. Hey guys, it's Bonnie from Bolderbon. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I set up my A5 dashboard planner to use as my command setter and share some of the things I'm working on this month. All right, guys. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. This is one of my favorite pages to set up. Last week, I set up my July monthly view, and today I'll be doing the notes pages. All right, so as you can see, I have already grabbed my sticker kit. These are from my shop. Most of the stickers I'm going to use today are from my shop. I'll leave everything linked down below if you want to check it out. This kit comes with your choice of bottom lined notes, a daily tracker, or a book tracker, which is what I'm going to use today. I also am going to be setting up the right hand page. I have a lot of fun things ready for this page, but first let's go ahead and put the notes kit down first on the left hand side. I think I'll just focus on doing the left hand side first, and then I'll move back over to the right. So let's go ahead and put down the book tracker first. Now with these large stickers, I like to actually peel them up and put them on my hand first. It just makes it a little bit easier to readjust in case I put them down wonky. Oh my gosh, guys, these books are making me so happy. Summertime is my favorite time of year. It's also the time I read the most books. And one thing I've learned is that after all these books that I've read, if I don't keep track of what I'm reading, I completely forget what I've finished by the end of the year. So this is so great to have. All right, so let's go ahead and put down the rest of the stickers. I like to put down the base of the stickers first, and then I'll get to planning. Oh my gosh, Patty. Of course, she has to come say hi to everybody. Hello. It's been a little bit, I think, since she has been in front of the camera. I don't think she came for the last couple of videos. I may have accidentally shut her out. So say your quick hello to everyone before I have to get back to planning. All right, I think I'm going to feed her and I'll be right back. All right, now that I have the base of the page set up, I'm going to start choosing the sections that I want to focus on this month. I have these header stickers. I used a couple of them already in the monthly section, so I'm just going to put down a couple more for the notes section. My first section is probably one of my most important for my command center, and that is my goals. Now I'm just going to put down the headers for each one of these sections first, and then I will go over all of my goals with you guys. All right, so for the long section here, I'm going to do a long running to-do list. This is where all those random tasks of mine live that don't need a specific date attached to it, but still needs to get done. And then for this last section here, I'm going to do highlights. It's so easy for me to focus on what's coming next, so I thought it would be nice to have a place to jot down all of my favorite memories and moments throughout the month, and I will just fill that in as the month goes by. So this one will stay blank, but I am going to fill in all of my other sections with you guys so you see exactly how I plan. Okay, so one thing that I've learned when setting up my monthly goals is that I can't put 25 goals down and expect to accomplish them. So instead, I focus on a few goals that are realistic, but also help move things forward. So, for instance, I want to upload 2 YouTube videos a month, finish our September kits, and journal daily. So some of these are a little bit of a stretch for me, but most of them I will be able to accomplish, and that is what I like to have for my goals. Now, my to-do list is really like a brain dump of everything that I'd like to do, but isn't a top priority, but also needs to get out of my head and onto paper. So for July, I know I need to declutter the office and organize my pictures and videos in my phone. And then I'm going to leave the rest blank because I know once it starts getting closer to July, I'm going to have a ton more that I need to write in. All right, now moving on to the right page, I am going to be using our A5 dashboard kit. This is actually meant for the weekly section of this planner. Since this is just a blank lined notes page, I'm going to use this kit to create my own layout. So I'm going to start by putting down some washi just at the top and the bottom of the page, but I'm going to use mostly functional stickers for this page because I have a ton of stuff that I want to fill in for this side of the page. All right, just a little bit extra to make it all cohesive. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. The stickers just make me so happy and motivated to plan. So it looks good already. So I'm going to create 6 different sections in the note page. Now, if you've seen the weekly page, it is similar to the right-hand side here, but a little bit different. The idea is to give this page a little bit more structure, and it also helps me create dedicated spaces for all of the things that I want to keep up track of throughout the month. Okay, so on the left is going to be for my weekly routine. Now, I also want to add a daily checklist as well, so I can write in my ideal routine for the week. And I will fill that in with you so you guys can get a little sneak peek at what I am planning for July. And then on the right hand side, I'm going to have a full section dedicated to my health. I know a lot of you guys probably already know that I was diagnosed with breast cancer late last year. I went through 3 surgeries, and I'm still continuing to go to doctor's appointments on a monthly basis. Thankfully, I do have clear margins now, but there is so many other things now that they are looking out for. So I want to have a full section just dedicated to trying to stay as healthy as possible. All right, before I fill the top half in, I want to get my middle section ready and create sections for that. So I'm going to do that, and then we will fill in the top half. Okay, so the middle section is going to be a dedicated space for my business. Now, let's go ahead and fill out the weekly routine. One thing that's really helped me as a business owner is assigning a general focus to each day of the week. It doesn't mean that's the only thing I work on that day. So, like orders sometimes can be every single day, but it gives me a starting point to know exactly what I'm going to do for that day. Of course, things come up and sometimes I need to shift things around, but this really helps to keep me organized and be a little more intentional throughout the week. All right, so let's go ahead and fill out my health section. I'm really trying to be more mindful about my health lately, especially with all of my health issues. This month, I'm going to focus on some pretty simple things like walking more, drinking enough water, and staying consistent with my routines. Nothing too fancy, just some small habits that add up over time. I've found that when I track these things in my planner, I'm much more likely to follow through. So I'm going to leave these two blank for now, and then maybe I'll fill them in when July starts. So let's go ahead and work on the business section. Running a small business means there is always something that I want to do. I always have tons of ideas and projects to work on. I try not to overwhelm myself with too much to do, but I find that writing these things down help me to stop thinking about them constantly. So this section usually ends up being a mix of current and future ideas. So I also added a dedicated section just for designing because it's such a big part of my business. I only wrote down two things to start because I know it's going to fill up super quick. All right, so let's go ahead and work on the bottom portion now. I'm just going to use another long washi strip just to section it out. I feel like this just gives it a little bit more structure. Now, the bottom section I'm going to use for reflection. So I realize that I am always focused on what still needs to get done and moving on to the next things super quickly. So I'm adding a section for accomplishments and lessons learned. Sometimes it's nice to look back and recognize what really went well. I think it's so easy to focus on everything that is left to do, and sometimes we forget to celebrate the things that we've actually already finished. All right, yay. I love how that looks. This might actually be my favorite section on the page because they're focused on looking back instead of always looking ahead. Planning is so important, but reflection is something that I need help with. So a lot of the learning happens when you reflect. Sometimes the biggest growth comes from paying attention to those little life lessons along the way. So I cannot wait for July to see how this all gets filled in. All right, guys. Oh my gosh, I love how this looks. All right, so at this point, the page is pretty much functional as it is, but I'm gonna add a few thin sticker strips just to separate the sections a little bit more. They're definitely not needed, but you guys know me. I can never say no to a few extra stickers. One of the things I love about decorating my planner is that it makes me want to come back and use it more. So the functional part is definitely important, but having a planner that feels pretty and inspiring makes planning so much more enjoyable to me. All right, so I think that that is going to be it for my stickers. I do have a ton left, but I'll use them in my weekly section. So that's a look at my command center. If you've never used your notes page before, I hope this gives you some ideas and inspiration for your own pages. If you like this video and you want to see more, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!